The colours from this lens are fantastic. Today we're looking at the brand new Voigtlander Color Skopar 50mm f2.2 Leica mount lens, available in both black and silver, as you can see here. Big thanks to Flaghead Photographic for sending me both copies of the lens to show you guys. I just got back from Poland, so I've been using the black lens on my 2.62, and the colours from the lens and this camera combined are absolutely fantastic. Dare I say it, almost Hasselblad level colours. I'm saying that with a smile, but yes, the colours are really, really nice. This lens is actually one of the smallest 50mm lenses you can get for Leica M-mount current production. Join me as I head to Poland and I'll show you lots of sample photos to give you an idea of whether or not this lens might be for you. Hello, welcome. Sorry for the lack of shavedness. The guys are going to pick up this lens in about the next 10 minutes, so I wanted to quickly show you the boxes, the lenses and everything before they come and collect them. I have done lots of behind the scenes footage already, so I'll probably cut away and come back in a second. I'll pack these lenses away, have a quick shave, take the hat off, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back, and without a hat this time. So as you can see, the lenses have been collected. I now have 2 cameras, less lenses. So with that, let's now take a closer look at some example photos shot with the new Voigtlander Color Skopar 50mm f2.2 VM lens, which means Leica M-mount. Actually, before we do, we should probably cover the basics. Like all Voigtlander lenses for Leica, VM means Leica M-mount, and that means it's going to be rangefinder coupled, manual focus only, all metal and glass, proper quality made lens. In the box you get front and rear lens caps as normal, and then you also get a lens hood, screw-in lens hood. Voigtlander used to get a lot of complaints in the past when their lenses were not supplied with lens hoods, and their lens hoods were really expensive. So maybe they've started to listen. These lenses are supplied with lens hoods. Like most rangefinder coupled lenses for Leica, this is rangefinder coupled from 0.7 meters with a close focus distance of 0.5 meters. If using live view on something like a M10, M10P, if you saw the last video, or things like the Leica SL, especially the Leica SL, because if you're using L-mount cameras, you can then use a Light Lens Lab close focus adapter, which means you can get even closer. So then one lens can be used as a do everything lens. But for us M shooters, 0.5 meters if you've got live view. Other things to note, this lens is a modern multi-coated lens, so for my experience you don't really need the lens hood. All photos shared in this video were shot without a lens hood. 95% shot with my Leica M262 just out of frame, and about 5% shot with the Leica SL just to show you the close focus ability. Okay, so with that, let's now look at photos. Okay, photos. I'm going to use the photos to show the different characteristics, starting with sun stars. So you can get nice sun stars from this lens, like many Voigtlanders, if you stop it down a bit. Lens flare. I didn't use a hood, and in most instances I got no flare, but if you try really, really hard, you can get a bit of veiling flare, as you can see here. I did shoot at the sun a lot, as that is my normal style, and in most cases no flare, but sometimes you can also catch a bit of flare on the edge of the frame, as seen here. Vignetting. This lens does have some vignetting at wide open at 2.2 and at 2.8, but as you stop down, like every lens, the vignetting will disappear. I actually add vignetting in my presets anyway. Chromatic aberration, not something big for me, but there is some chromatic aberration if you zoom in and look at your photos. Close focus at 0.5 meters. I tried to use my 2.62 and just guess the focus distance, and it took me around 8 shots sometimes, but I just guessed it and eventually I got my shots. The easy way to do it is use a Leica SL with live view, as you can see here, and so these are close focus at 0.5 meters. I borrowed Thomas's SL and got these shots because I had my 2.62 for this trip. Bokeh, as you saw from those photos, you can get nice bokeh. Here you can see 1 meter, 0.7, 0.5. And for these portraits, it does have a bit of swirl at the edges, which I like, and it has a more cat eye bokeh, which I also prefer to the standard round bokeh. Colours. As I mentioned at the start, the colours from this lens are fantastic, especially if paired with a M240 or M262 sensor, which tend to have nicer colours than some of the latest cameras, the M10, the M11, etc. All photos you're seeing are just preset added to the raw files and job done. Black and white. Now I know many of you prefer black and white, myself included, so here are some black and whites Again, raw plus my standard Mr. Leica black and white preset added. I'm sure you don't need to see colour versions for all photos, so these are just all straight black and whites, raw plus preset. You can see you can get some really nice contrast from this lens. It is a more modern rendering lens, but if you shoot it directly into the sun, sometimes that'll give you a lower contrast, maybe slightly more vintage look, as you saw from some of the flare examples. I was shooting film with Thomas in Gdansk in Poland, so definitely subscribe to the next video because I'm going to be doing a whole video on 35mm film with a Leica M camera. Okay, so what is the verdict? Can I recommend this lens? You know already that I absolutely love compact lenses, and if you see the lens here on my M10P, it gives a really nice compact walk around setup. As I say, I was using it on the 2.62 when I was out in Poland, and the 2.62 is actually a very light camera for an M camera, and so yeah, you can just have it around your neck all day and it's amazing. So I love that aspect, the size, and as I say, it is one of the smallest lenses for a 50mm brand new lens for Leica. Other alternatives, you could probably consider the Voigtlander Nocturne 51.5 or the Typoc Eureka 50mm f2 collapsible. For me, that is the closest lens to this lens in terms of current production lenses and the closest competitor. I think personally I'd maybe go for the Typoc just because I love the retro design. I love the fact that I can fit the same lenses on that lens as on some of my vintage lenses, the old style push-on lenses, and the fact that it's collapsible and that it's lighter. I think it's lighter. I'll bring up the numbers on the screen, but the Typoc is like aircraft aluminium and just silly light, whereas the Voigtlander lens feels more like a normal Voigtlander lens where it's light but feels nicely made. So if you already use 39mm filters on your Leica lenses, as many of us do with our M cameras, you might prefer the new Voigtlander because that has the same 39mm filter thread. Is it a good do-everything lens? I think if you live in kind of bright conditions, 50mm f2.2 on modern sensors is probably bright enough for most situations. Talking of alternatives, you've even got the vintage Color Skopar that some of you may not be aware of. Voigtlander used to make a Color Skopar screw mount lens. So I'll bring it up on the screen and show you side-by-side differences. So the screw mount is now discontinued, but the old lens is slightly smaller and is sharp enough if you stop down. As with all Voigtlander lenses, if you live in the UK, if you buy from Robert White, you can use the Mr. Leica discount code. I'll put a link below, or there's a link on the Mr. Leica blog, and you can get some money off any Voigtlander lenses that you're buying. In conclusion, if you like modern, contrasty, saturated images in a small package, you will love the brand new Voigtlander Color Skopar 50 f2.2. If you're looking for a 50mm f2 lens with a bit more character, a bit more vintage, perhaps consider looking at some of the vintage 50mm lenses from Leica. You've got the vintage collapsible 50mm f2 Summachron, you've got the vintage collapsible 50mm f2 Scimitar, and you've got the vintage collapsible 50 f2 Sumar. I have done videos on all these, so maybe watch that one next. As always, a huge thanks to my amazing patrons. Links below to more content, and to see what is my favourite Leica M film camera at the moment, subscribe to see the next video.